it's wonderful to be here today. And I have my comments ready and I don't even know where to begin. First of all, seeing the faces of these Rotarians, thanking your club for doing what you're doing to help them. That's what it's all about. It all started with Carl. When you said Carl, I started getting all teared up. But anyway, it's just such a pleasure to be here with all of you today. And thank you, President Paul, for your leadership Peter, I'm sorry, for your leadership this year and trying to get through the end of the year with this pandemic. I cannot even imagine, but your club is solid and it shows. So thank you for this very nice invitation, because it is my great pleasure to present some comments to you, an update, if you will, to the third Rotary Club in the world, the Rotary Club of Oakland. Your club in this district continues to take on a dynamic place in the world of Rotary, without a doubt. As you just heard from Joe, this year, your district is #1 in the world of total giving. Amazing. And your own club, #3 in your own district for annual giving. And we'll talk about that later, the importance of your gift to the Rotary Foundation each and every year, no matter how big or small. It all counts, it all matters. And we've had to make some decisions, tough decisions, because of the support that we're receiving, is not able to keep up with all the grant writing, the wonderful grants that you're doing for so many great projects. But throughout all of this time, over the years, many, many years, you have really and truly shown the world that you can truly make a difference. You've pursued innovative service projects and pushed to be more inclusive and diverse in your membership. You've embraced Rotaractors and Interactors as equal partners, and you've done this to make sure that our future will be as bright as your past. But today we all face new challenges, the coronavirus pandemic, and of course here in the US, now throughout the world, the waves of social unrest that is happening. At this difficult time, the world needs Rotary more than ever. We need to bring people together. Rotary needs to help the most vulnerable, and Rotarians need each other. We need to stay connected, and we need to take action when it comes to COVID-19 and so many other things. We took action for the cause of public health long before COVID. And because of that experience, we are making a big difference today. We're finding ways to apply our knowledge and experience in fighting yet another disease, polio to COVID-19 response. The polio eradication program is already using the advanced disease eradication infrastructure that we have in place to protect the vulnerable from COVID-19, especially in polio endemic countries. And of course, as soon as it's safe to do so, the Global Polio Eradication Initiative will resume our polio immunization activities. Following the difficult decision to cease house-to-house vaccination campaigns, and we transitioned all of our workers and our resources to fight COVID-19. It is our moral imperative. This is a global pandemic. I couldn't be more proud to be a Rotarian than I am right now. Now, with regard to COVID, we are, as you know, people of action, people who create lasting change, as is said in our vision statement. We're equipped by the resources of our Rotary Foundation, and we're able to make a difference in thousands of people's lives and in thousands and thousands of communities around the world. Recently, our General Secretary, John Hugo, said something that was very deep and meaningful to me. He said, we, Rotary and Rotarians, are built for this. And we are. We are built for this because we are all about service. We're all about helping others. The Rotary Foundation, the trustees recently took a lot of decisions in regards to grants and in regards to disaster response through our disaster response fund. And we are allowing, and we are being more flexible with our grants, with our district grants, with our disaster response grants. I learned today, this week, we've been on trustee meetings all week and ended our term for this year with our chair, Gary Wong, wonderful man. Incoming chair is Ravi Ravindran. But we had reports on how much we have spent so far on COVID-19 projects. Between global grants, disaster response grants, district grants, we have invested, and I will say invested, $20 million into COVID-19 activities. We've done this because we've heard from each of you, from people around the world who are really, really looking for some help, immediate help, long-term help. We don't know how long COVID is going to be with us, but I know how long Rotary will be there to support it. You have also taken action to fight COVID-19 by helping frontline health workers, hosting online meetings to discuss public health best practices, and even helping businesses during this COVID-19 era. You are also thinking seriously about the future, holding for the first time an online meeting with the first 5 Rotary clubs in the world, discussing ways to engage future Rotary members. But there's more we can do, right? As people of action, you have left a powerful legacy for every single generation since Rotary's founding. And I'm sure many of you want to ask what the future might look like to live with COVID-19. What will our future look like in 5 years? We had many of these discussions over this week at our trustee meetings. What will our fundraising look like? How will we do this? What will our membership look like? If we're service-minded, how do we continue to engage Rotarians, as we heard earlier? The number one reason why people stay in Rotary, because of our service. Well, we've learned just now through COVID-19 and this pandemic that we do continue to serve, that we do continue to connect. And we can do this because we're built for it. So over the last few weeks, our membership and research teams of Rotary International looked very closely at the historical membership in Rotary and estimate how COVID virus might affect it, both in terms of membership and our fundraising. And I can tell you the results of the analysis really gave us reasons for cautious optimism. And the most dynamic historic fall of membership occurred during the Great Depression in 1932 and 33, when our membership fell by almost 10,000 members to 146,000. That was a drop back then of 5.6%, pretty significant. However, in most recent times, our memberships have been able to weather the storms, the turbulent events that we faced. For example, during the last recession in 2008 and 9, we actually grew by 1%. And during the European Union's debt crisis, our membership fell very low, just 0.4%. So in conclusion, when we saw the fall in membership between 2020 and 2024, even if we did, we have put in a plan in place to ensure that we still have the resources to support our core mission, helping our members take action to create lasting change across this globe. So of course, this is no time and no reason for complacency. Our finances and our membership numbers are affected by more than this pandemic, right? And there are long-term challenges to address, even if COVID-19 were contained swiftly. And of course, one of those long-term challenges will be membership. And I think the issue is closely tied to how we execute our mission, because ultimately, COVID-19 forces us to rethink the ways in which we connect and serve. In our surveys and focus groups and part of Rotary's strategic plan, we learned that our members thought we needed to become nimbler. You like that word, nimbler. More open to ideas and faces and better about capitalizing on changing technologies and trends. My goodness, if we ever decided to all of a sudden tomorrow say to the Rotary world, we're going to start meeting virtually. Hello, do we think that we could have done it? But we did. Overnight, we switched over to meeting virtually and having a really wonderful time and making the best use of our time, I might add. So this is an opportunity. It really is an opportunity to think creatively about how we do service projects in our own new reality, in which for the most of the world, mass gatherings are banned indefinitely, right? And we must think about involving our Rotaractors as equal partners in our service projects. And this will be especially important during this crisis. Our Rotaractors grew up in the digital era, and we must deploy their talents in finding new ways to connect despite social isolation. Now is the time to invite Rotaractors to help us shape our future. But we also need to focus on this member retention. 60% of our surveys thought that enhancing participant engagement was the most important priority, as I said. And the evidence backs this up. As we know, it's our newest members who are most prone to leave Rotary. Over the past 5 years, on average, our new members only stay with Rotary for 2 years. So it's really vital to engage new members in those early years to ensure that they find value in the Rotary experience, which draws them into a longer-term commitment. My goodness, I remember back when I first joined Rotary in 1989, and I sat there in the meeting and I was being introduced to members who had been in Rotary for 50 years. I mean, that was remarkable enough, but to hear that they had perfect attendance for 50 years, I couldn't believe it. And today, here I sit in front of you as a member of Rotary for 30 years. I cannot think of a better place for me to be than in this organization. It really and truly gives me great purpose, and I hope it does for you. We mustn't forget to include our outreach efforts to those clubs who are not meeting either online or in person. I hope you're helping other clubs, Peter. Try to find how you can help them and involve them. Even attending your meeting, it would be so wonderful for them to share in this experience. Some things we need to change permanently as we move forward. And I'm sure that you've found some creative new ways to connect and serve yourself. And we need to do that as we maintain our service in the post-COVID era. Some clubs may embrace a new blend of maybe both virtual and in-person meetings, and that would be great. In fact, my own Rotary Club plans to do that next week at the Step Down. But now at the very beginning, I mentioned to you the challenge of addressing the social unrest here in the United States and around the world, and the role that Rotary has to play in cultivating a more diverse and inclusive membership so that we really and truly reflect the communities in which we serve. One starting point is Rotary's diversity, equity, and inclusion policy statement. Perhaps you know we even have one, and perhaps not, but I encourage you to go online and read it. It pledges to cultivate a diverse, equitable, and inclusive culture in which people from unrepresented groups have greater opportunities to participate as members and leaders of this organization. Following this statement, Rotary has developed an action plan to support the goal of women in Rotary and in Rotary leadership positions. We're looking to have 30% of women in Rotary by June 2023. And I believe that we will achieve that. I would like to see the percentage just a bit higher, though. I wonder why. But as you know, the board is considering further actions to support individuals overall from other unrepresented groups to take on leadership roles. It's important. We need to represent the world. We need to represent the changes that we need to make. In Barry Rassin's words, as he was club president, Rotary needs to make a transformational change. And today is the day. But ultimately, at its best, it is a crucible for grassroots change. Whether it's in Polio Plus or global grants, it takes one person, one Rotary member, one Rotaractor to make a real difference. It takes that one idea. So today, before sharing my own opinions on how Rotary can really build a more diverse and inclusive membership, I'd like to suggest that you let me know how you think we can change. What can we do to make this world better? How can we make that change starting right now, today? I think that President Peter might have my email. If he doesn't, it's easy. It's just rotarybrenda@gmail.com. So I look forward to hearing from you. But please, thank you. I really want to thank you for this opportunity to share some time with you. Thank you for your ongoing commitment to Rotary service, all these fantastic projects, and your incredible support to the Rotary Foundation over the years. We've made some great progress in the past, due in part to Oakland number 3's sincere commitment to Rotary, the organization, and the foundation. Please join me too. I know President Peter will mention this to you, but I'm really looking forward to seeing how this virtual convention is going to work next week. I'm very excited about it because I think it can be a learning tool for all of our clubs and all of our Rotarians. Thank you so much. It's just been a pleasure. Thank you.
Brenda, thank you so much. I wanted you to know that this year we chartered a Oakland Community Rotaract, and I am meeting with them Friday afternoon, tomorrow afternoon, because they have some ideas about things that we as an organization, in combination with them, can do to assist through this the problems we're having, not only with COVID, but also with the difficulties with our policies regarding equity. Our club actually also released a statement that was quite powerful, and so we're on board with that. And we have changes to make. We need to begin to focus not just on the philanthropy that we do, but also need to focus on making sure that our society is truly beneficial to all. So thank you for your presentation.
You're welcome.
I do have a few questions. Are you willing to answer them, Brenda?
Of course.
Great. So one comes from a former, if I can find it, a former post-district governor. And then the question is, why the changes in the matching to cash in global grants?
Oh, that's a good question. I've been getting a lot of phone calls and emails on that one. Well, I want you to know that it wasn't a decision that was made on the fly. It was really well thought. We have actually been looking at several options, at least 10 or 15 even, different options on how to preserve the integrity of our World Fund. And this was coming from the Finance Committee, who kept looking at that finite pot of World Fund money decreasing because of the increase of global grants. We have increased our global grant activity over 33% in just the last 3 years, but very much increased it since we went to the grant model. But anyway, this seemed to be one of the areas that we could look at to preserve the World Fund, because if you think about it, the World Fund is created because of our gifts to the annual fund. Half of that money returns to the district as district designated funds. The other half is invested and put into the World Fund. When a donor makes a gift to a grant, none of that money is supporting the World Fund, but it is in fact taking money out of the World Fund. So there isn't an investment in that gift other than the wonderful project that they're supporting. So this seemed like the most, it would be probably the most contentious one, because we have a lot of people supporting grants, and we need to have those cash gifts to support the grants, but we didn't have any choice. The fact is that we already had to shut down grants for the rest of this Rotary year. We have no more money to support the grants. We have a budget, we need to preserve it. And next year, we're going into the year with a lot of grants sitting and being rolled over. So we're going to have another hard time. And why is that? It's because we are not making our goal each year annual fund to support the grant